in the house, it speaks volume. So it's great to be here this morning. We do it a day strictly up to 10 o'clock, and at 10 we call it a day on the program.
Welcome to Voice of Liberia, Representative Ray.
Thank you. Good morning. And thank you for having me here this morning.
Okay, how are you? The last time I saw you, that was a year ago. Yeah, some time. I think that was in my Gibi. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was there
Okay.
for your opening,
Okay,
but I
all
did
right.
not get
Okay.
to see the facility, but I was
Okay.
there for the program.
Okay, that's good. That's nice. Okay, it's great
Yeah,
now.
it's one of our
After
studios.
after after
Mhm.
this discussion, you will take you around to see the facility. How
Okay.
is my Gibi, your area of interest?
My GB is okay, especially district number 3.
Mhm.
Yes, they are doing perfectly fine. The citizens, in general, my GB is okay.
Okay, so we're going to begin the conversation from with your area of representation at the national level, and then we talk more some national issues before we can get into the district. You know, we have to play around that too, as well. Let's look at your representation at the national legislature. As a female, sometimes it is very tough. I know, seeing yourself amongst your male counterparts, the way they do things, and so forth.
Yes, that place I will say and continue to say is a complete political theater. You are not going to have anything done easily.
Mhm.
You have to be able to um, mingle. You have to be able to form alliances with people
Mhm.
like minds. That's the only way sometimes it's possible. You cannot do it all by yourself. I can say it. Take, for example, you have me who is alone in terms of political party. I'm from the
Mhm.
Liberian People Party. So if I don't form alliance with other like minds, obviously it will be difficult for me to be able to achieve something. So over the years, that's how I've been working with my colleagues to reach to where I am.
Sometimes you feel frustrated.
Oh yes, a lot. I feel frustrated a lot because it's not easy to find a like mind.
Mhm.
Something that you may see as something prudent, it may be prudent for your district and not the other's districts.
Mhm.
So how can you convince them to do such a thing when it is not applicable in their own district? So it becomes frustrating sometimes,
Is that
but with the relationship and the detailed explanation, it works.
Yeah,
is
so
that is that
sometimes it's
is that
issues driven.
Exactly,
is
yes.
Okay.
that is that one of the problems to which many a times you politicians before entering the house you have a lot of good plans on your decks, but when you enter it becomes a whole different thing. Is that one of the reasons?
Yes, because from the outside, the mindset is different from the practical.
Okay.
I'll say it to you. So from the outside, we were like, yes, when we get there, we are going to make the change that we want to see. We will do this, we will do that. But then you reach there and know that this is not how it is done. You
Mhm.
have to have the power to lobby with your colleagues to achieve. And if you don't have that relationship, I can tell you for free, it's just a waste of time.
What has been your greatest success since you were elected by the people of Margibi to represent them at the national legislature?
My greatest success is seeing a transformation when it comes to my people, when it comes to my district, in terms of the development, in terms of the advocacy, the representation.
Mhm.
One of the biggest one that I always am proud of is giving the hope to the people of the plantation, the
Okay.
Firestone
Mhm.
division. We know the situation there is not anything easy, but how can we encourage them to stick around? So that is a concession area. So much cannot be done outside of advocacy.
Okay.
So during my administration, I was able to advocate for 251 persons
Okay.
that got employment,
Okay.
were serving as contractors because they didn't know where to start from, what to do. Some of them are not educated, so they were just using the thumb and just signing. They didn't know where to even start from. So to be able to achieve that, and you know that you working along with the leadership as well to put the people first, it is one of my greatest achievements
Okay.
because I mean they were hopeless. They felt nothing could have been done. Some of them even painted Firestone as a bad company. But when they started seeing the transformation, there's hope for them and they know that they do have a right as the citizens of Liberia.
Okay, look, leading to your frustration, like you said, what do you think the legislature? Because sometimes before you people come to you come with the discord that you want to do this, you want to change the way in which the settle looks like, the way your predecessors will present or presented the picture to be. What is that one thing that the legislature is supposed to be doing that you think you guys are not doing? That most of the times you have Liberians saying that the lawmakers are our problems.
True. I will tell you that all is not well, but we also need to educate the society. They need to understand the workings of the House of Legislature, the judiciary branch, as well as the executive. So most times when I hear people putting all the blame on the legislature, I laugh and then I hold myself responsible. I hold myself responsible because it is on me to educate the people. We got laws that we have passed. We are not the ones to implement. So if we pass some of the laws, why are the requisite institution not doing the implementation? So if you say we have the law on the books, for example, the rape law, and this issue or allegation, we look forward to the judiciary system, we look forward to the executive to take action. So it is not on us to go and arrest or to go and investigate. But when people just put us in that blanket and say the lawmakers, they're not doing anything, they're our problem, I think they are blaming us.
You
because
have the
they are not
power to
willing-
question these people whenever
course.
the law is at a certain point in time what they're supposed to be doing, they're not doing.
Yes, so we have our part to play in terms of the representation, the oversight, the lawmaking. So we have to call the institutions to book,
Okay.
to ask them questions. That's where we use our oversight. When we ask and they tell us what they know is best, we look forward to them for the implementation part. So if they don't do it, again, we continue to raise the issue. But what's the law that says if they do not do it, outside of you giving them maybe vote of no confidence, what else can you do beyond? And I can tell you what the legislature, what we need to do is to work more in the interest of the people and sometimes drop the party issue.
Okay.
It's not about the party.
You think it is
It's-
at the national legislature?
yeah, those
People
are some of
prioritize
our,
party?
yes, because people believe that we have to do this maybe protect our party. We have to do this to stand as a party.
It compromises
So-
the issue.
Yeah, sometimes, of course, I will not say that. I will not. I hold back on my voice when it comes to that. So you know that there are ways that things supposed to be done. If it is not done, or people will shy away because it will be an issue for the party. You find it difficult. But I can say to you, in overall, we as legislators, we should always be.
What's
able
your
to put
personal
the people
experience with this current government? You have the speaker coming from the CDC, the deputy speaker aligned with the CDC as well. It places you people who are from different political institutions of different belief to sometimes raise issues in consideration that, yes, indeed, we want for this to happen. You have people protecting the party interest.
Of course. So there are many ways to achieve some of your things. If I know that I will proffer this bill that coming from me would not be okay, and I know it is okay for the Liberian people, I don't have to take that personal glory. I rather work through the person that's a member of the ruling party and say, look, this is my idea. What do you think?
Okay.
If you can proffer A, I'll be one of the excuse me, the sponsors. I really don't mind. I will
Wow.
sign, because at the end of the day, I want Liberia to achieve.
So meaning
So-
you would just have to pass through somebody,
Of course.
somebody to call them the top class.
Yes. And the way we structure, the speaker has the power that he has is very huge. I would say it. The speaker has the ability to recognize who speaks. So you can put your hands up 20 times. If the speaker chooses to recognize Paul and not Peter, that Paul will speak. Unless you want to hijack the flow and just talk loosely. But when it comes to being recognized to make your point, the speaker has the authority. So if I know that it's going to put him in a position where he will be between the rock and the high place, I'd rather send it to one of his partisans and say, look, this is what I see, and make that person to see reason or reasons and let them profile it. What's the Liberian people? It will be in their interest. I'll feel fine within myself.
Do you
Have you been
have
denied?
critical?
Have you been denied speaking in the house before?
Oh yes. Oh yes, on many occasions. Sometimes as a speaker I'm walking outside or some protest, sometimes I will just talk loosely across the field because you have to talk. Or what you do, the most appropriate thing to do is to maybe after the session you can call the media and give your point.
Okay.
Yes, how you feel, just so the record can be there.
It is because you are not from the CDC. That's why at times these things happen, or it just goes across the board as a whole.
Sometimes it's like that, and sometimes it's the speaker's will and pleasure. He decides who talks.
It calls for you people being strong who do not share the same political ideology. You guys maybe like, for example, we used to have the Independent Legislative Caucus,
Yes.
and the caucus is dead.
It's dead. Yes, it is dead. Because when we started the, excuse me, the Independent Legislative Caucus, peace be unto his ashes, the late Ada Florence, he was one of us too. We started on a good note, but I don't want to sound personal, but some of the members wearing, speaking in the tone or language as we desire.
Okay.
So it was making the entire body to look like people who just want confusion. But honestly, we were actually willing to work in the interest of the people. And there were things that we raised from the beginning when we started that today our colleagues were able to thank us for that. They are benefiting from it today. Some of the decisions, some of the things that we flag out. But as we were proceeding, I mean, we just weren't on the same path, and people we were getting frustrated as to the way some of the members were handling certain things. So we look at it, instead of us having this institution and we're not standing together with one voice, our voices are scattered. It's better we speak individually until we can be willing to stand firmly.
Okay. All right. So we will get to the issue now. In Margibi County, you come from Margibi. The last time the people petitioned the lawmakers from Margibi on this drug law, the House of Representatives was very instrumental to have looked into that, and that particular that particular drug law was amended, forwarded to the Liberian Senate. What basically were you looking for, being one of those who being the pipeline and making sure that we have a stronger drug law in our country?
Yeah, we were looking for a stronger drug law, and we were also looking for solutions in terms of the rehabilitation process. So the law that we passed, and we passed it on to the House of Senate, for which they were able to pass it as well. So we look forward to the president to act now. We were looking at the end users.
Okay.
We just don't want to say make the law non-billable and not having anything in place for the end user. So now we have the law being non-billable except for the end users. So the end users are the victims. So I don't see how somebody is a victim of something and you put that person into jail, in prison, and making it non-billable. So we gave you this an option there where you will go for rehabilitation, ensure that the person is properly rehabilitated to come back and fit within society. So that's where, since it will be a law now with the president signed, we look forward to advocating for something in the budget to have to sustain that part of it. You cannot have somebody you're trying to rehabilitate somebody and the facility is not there. It should be accessible. It should be places where we can easily have the end users going there to go through that process to be refined. So actually, it is non-billable for those that we will find selling the importation and all that, except for the end users. So we believe that with the passage of this law, we will have the financial support that we need to have the ideal locations and centers with all equipment to ensure that our people are rehabilitated, that they will be part of society again as before.
My worry is, if I got you right, sometimes you lawmakers will pass the necessary law, you feel that it is good for the country, and those who are to enforce the law are not doing the work. So you will call them, ask them the hard questions, and at the end of the day, they go. Now, the drug law, the amendment of the drug law, as per the punishment being spelled out, it is now quite different from some of the laws we have in our country. Will you not again be frustrated when you have people not implementing?
That's what I say to people. It's not about making laws.
Mhm.
It's about the implementation part. So we will continue to call them and use our oversight side responsibility. We'll exercise our right to,
Okay.
to the responsibility that we have. And if we don't do it, what will be the outcome of the public?
Okay.
We understand that the lawmakers have been calling, they've been talking, and nothing is being done. Okay, they even issue vote of no confidence in this institution or the head of this institution. What is the executive doing for that? But many a times the public do not focus on that. They focus on the lawmakers. If we had the authority, I personally, Honorable Ellen Atore, representative of District Number 3,
Mhm.
if I had the authority to dismiss people from the executive, I would do so. But I don't have it. So we continue to call them to books, we continue to flag the issue, and we continue to ask them to inform us. If you think you need to amend your act or you need the regulations that will give you the power to do XYZ, then say it to us so you have the protection. But not to know that the laws are on the books and you are not implementing
What
them.
you guys were
you-
arguing
uh, uh,
about, Aris, before you can come in, what you guys were really arguing about, it took a good number of time before this drug law was passed, forwarded to the Liberian Senate to look at it, to concur with your body. Sometimes it feels very frustrating that issues that are of essence that people should be talking about. Sometimes when it surfaces on the floor, you just see you can hear about it.
That's true. We are also frustrated most of the times. So I would say we were looking at the part where we should be able to find means to generate more revenue to accommodate that bill.
Okay.
We just don't want the laws being on the books and we cannot implement. Okay, we caught John Brown, Peter Paul with drugs, and now he's in prison. It's not billable. But we also need time that the case will be adjudicated. We just don't want the people to be in prison for time indefinite.
Okay.
You should have due process. And at the same time, the end user, we want to rehabilitate them. Where do you take them? It shouldn't be done based on individual.
Okay.
It should be done based on the national budget. That if you trying your best in, for example, in my district, and I'm able to see 2-3 persons that are willing to be rehabilitated, that responsibility shouldn't come from me as an individual. I should know that yes, I can take them to this government facility where they will be properly rehabilitated. So those are things that we look, and we need the Waste, Means, and Finance to tell us how they can do that to ensure that this thing will be done, it will be implemented.
Before we can get to the women empowerment issue, this drug thing is very important. Now, most of the times when you listen to the guys from the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, you will hear them telling you that the drug law is weak, and one of the reasons why you're not seeing anything, the enforcement and so now it is strong now.
Mhm.
Another thing will be logistic to the LDEA. How do
Yes.
you guys intend to handle that?
So we have the period for the national budget.
Mhm.
The institutions are called to justify.
Okay.
So if you come with your budget saying that I had, for example, I'm being hypothetical, 100,000, and now I need 150,000, you have to justify your budget.
Okay.
I need 150,000 because I have to do XYZ. I need to put this in place that will enhance my work. So once you can justify, I don't see why. And I say we should put the country first and not the party. If you should justify to the legislature and you do not have that increment that you need in your budget, you should be able to speak your mind. You should be able to inform the public so they know where the fault is coming from. So that way, the energy from the public will be directed to that person or that institution. Then at least we all know that people watching.
Okay.
So you're supposed to do the right thing. And mind you, it's not only to have that amount in the budget, but to ensure that it will be available from the Ministry of Finance.
Two things quickly relative to this drugs issue. But before then, I sat and listened when you mentioned that if you had a willpower to dismiss people, there are people you're going to be dismissing people around. If that statement is actually true, what do you think by this time that is in government, especially from the executive team, should be dismissed?
Um, I don't want to sound personal, but I say the way that I expect people to respond to issues, the way I expect people to some of the institutions to put in their all, it is not done that way. And I get frustrated sometimes when we call the institution. For the record, I don't know whether, don't ask me whether it's political or what,
No,
but I
no,
will
we don't
say,
need
and then you make your judgment. From my background, it will make you to know that I'm not a member of banking and currency. I'm not a member of PAC. I'm not a member of Westminster Finance. But the times I have sat in the budget room during the hearing, of course, nobody will ask me out. But when it comes to voting, I wouldn't vote because I'm not a member of the committee.
Okay.
So you listen and you expect people to actually say they are constrained. They wouldn't say it. But you call them as a committee, they say, oh, Honorable, we couldn't do this because of X, Y, Z. No. So this budget year, I'm going to reach out to the institution that I dealt with before. I'm in Kakata. I know the challenges we are faced with.
Mhm.
I know the joint security. I know the police station. They need a vehicle. They are asking me, do you think I'm capacitated to purchase a vehicle for the Liberia National Police? No. So when it comes to the budget hearing, make it known. These are the things that we need that will enhance our work. We will be able to move around. Something as common as stationery.
Okay.
They do not have it. So how do you expect the Liberia National Police at that level to function properly? But if you keep a tight lip and you don't say it, people think the police don't want to work.
Mm.
But for short, Tata wants to bag, but the hands are
But
short.
the hand short.
Exactly. So
This-
speak out your mind and forget about me being an appointed official. So maybe I may be penalized. It will look like I'm bringing my government to. I don't want it to be done that way. Let's
Okay.
speak our minds, and so we'll be able to help genuinely.
And quickly, Paco, before we move to the next thing, this issue on the drugs, it takes years or months, if not year, from the House of Representatives, move on to the Senate, and a drag until now it's been passed. How soon do we expect the president to affix his signature to this so that it should be implemented in full swing?
The president is out of the country, but I know there's no law. I stand to be corrected, but as far as my research tells me, there's no law that prohibits the president from signing anyway.
Mhm.
So he knows, according to the Constitution, he got period to sign.
Okay.
If he doesn't act, it becomes a law automatically.
Okay. And
So,
that's exactly.
Yeah, so I know that he knows that this thing, he
Hmm.
knows how, because the young kid who really motivated me on Lawrence Day, you got,
Mm.
I've seen him with pictures with the president. I move around in Montserrat County with him, not only Maggie, but to tell you that it is everybody's business. So the president said, well, I know he prioritized this bill and he will be able to sign. If he doesn't sign after the period given, it becomes a law.
Okay, so let's look at women's participation into the governance circle of our country. You are a female. Most of the times you hear people, what man can do, women can do it too, and we pretend, in fact, we can do it even more than the man. Let's look at that, and we can move on to your district.
I can say it with all fear that gone are those days where the women were just at the back.
Mhm.
Now we are trying our best to work side by side with the men. And we are building ourselves, we are building our minds. Those things that prevented women in the past, we are trying to break that barrier, and it has been working.
Okay.
We know about the Land Right Act. We know how many rights that the women got now as compared to before. We know how women speak out. They are bold. They participate in things that were almost like forbidden those days.
Okay.
So I can tell you it's a sign that we are prepared. We are ready. We are not fully there yet, but we are making significant progress. And we are our former president who
Mm.
is a female, so we were able to see the difference prior to what we have, what when she served and we having a mill now, so we will be able to compare and contrast. But I can tell you that the women, we are making progress, and if we say we are willing, we are ready, indeed, trust us.
It,
we
it takes
are.
it takes the ones who are ready, people
Yes.
who can read between the lines
Mhm.
before you give them the authority, not just.
I say to the public,
Mhm.
whenever I speak, in as much as we want women to be at the decision-making table, it is on us to showcase
Okay.
ourselves. We have to be ready. We just don't want women there that will not be ready, and the men will say, "We told you the women are not capable; they are not ready." No, so
Okay.
that's why we are preparing ourselves. We got young girls that we are mentoring
Okay.
that will be ready when the time reaches.
We got 20 minutes in this conversation to call it a day. We understand a representative where you will or you seeking a re-election in 2023 and representing your people from District 3 at the national legislature comes with too many responsibilities and so forth. Let's look at your district. What have you done so far in your district that you seek a re-election?
So, first of all, my re-election or my desire to contest again came from the people.
Okay.
As it happened in 2017, it
Okay.
was the mandate of the people. So I continue to do what I started doing, and I will do that until as long as I'm alive, whether I'm re-elected or not. The only difference is maybe the resources may not be available to do more, but I will continue to work with them. It came from them again that they want me to contest again to retain a seat based on, I think, their own belief. They study what they have seen. It's good to see the tangibles. So there were things that were done under our administration that they thought were never going to happen. One for which I mentioned, the advocacy when it comes to Firestone. Yes, they were hopeless, for lack of better words. They didn't believe that certain things were possible until they saw it happening. So that alone on the plantation side, they know that there's hope. Outside of that, it's a concession area. We cannot do much in terms of infrastructure
Yeah, sure.
development. So we thought it wise to empower the people so they are not only limited to slashing or tapping. So we got a skill training program. We got the soap making, we got the baking, we got the tie dyeing. So we do it in cycle on the various divisions
Okay.
based on their interest. We call for the town hall meetings and they tell me for this division we want to do soap making. That's what we do. So there's some form of trade that's been added to them. So even outside of Firestone, you have something else to do. There are some of the workers there who express interest in the driving school because they feel that at that level you will earn more money. So we also have the driving school ongoing. That's just for the Firestone plantation.
Okay.
And those that are contractors, they are not eligible to go to the Firestone Hospital because they are not employees. So we have a clinic right at the 26 gate that you can go there and seek medical treatment free because you cannot afford or you do not have the card to go to the Firestone Hospital, Dosa Hospital, because you're not an employee.
You could
So,
just facing property to the mouth.
so on that level, that's what we are doing on the Firestone plantation. And you come right to the 26th gate. The people were there. They didn't have anywhere to have their meetings and even somewhere for study class. They needed shelter. All of my projects are not projects that were done by myself. It came from them, with the exception of the road rehabilitation, because of course I know doing that without consulting them, it wouldn't hurt. But when it comes to a major project, we all have our meetings and they tell me what they want. So to 26 gate, you see a massive structure there. They brought it to my attention. We need something that we can have as shelter, we can have as our peace hut, and we can also use it for study class at night in the evening hours for the kids. So it wasn't too difficult to do. So we're able to construct that for them. With lights there, making the learning process easier for the kids. Down to Kakata, there are so many projects. Not only the regular hand pumps, but we got the road rehabilitation, we got the Palawa hut, we got the pit latrine. We also have the empowerment ongoing. The
Okay.
empowerment is key because through the empowerment, I have seen a significant changes in the people and development.
Mhm.
Women I used to pour out to my house in the morning, when they are there to show me the progress report, the village saving
Okay.
cards and all that. So we did that through this after we conducted a survey to know what they were actually faced with the challenges. So after the survey, the results came and we knew what they needed to start. So that's how we started with the initial 100 persons as our target. But today we have exceeded over 2,000 and we are still going. I'm not tired because I keep seeing the progress report.
Okay.
So the way my scholarship students, the list was so huge, it has cut down significantly because I got the financial aid as
Okay.
well. Parents are coming, you empower me, so I was able to register my child or my children. I just need to help me with the first and second quarter. So those things is not only based on their infrastructure, it's not only based on the empowerment, it's also on the human capacity building. So we got the scholarship student, we got a trade school as well in Kakata and a driving school.
You've been criticized. We follow the politics in Margib here.
Mhm.
You've been criticized of not doing much, and you shouldn't be given a second chance. What exactly you think you want to do at the national legislature that you didn't do in your first term? That indeed you come out like you said you've been petitioned to by the people. The people asked you to go back for the second term. What is that one thing?
So I would say to you that those that are saying it, they are just a few group of persons based on their own personal reasons. The citizens are the ones who are saying we need you to go back. I didn't say there's something that I started doing and I want to complete, so it helped me to go back to complete it. No, they know based on the progress report what they have seen, what they have felt. That's why they say we want you to go back. So in every given society, you wouldn't find everybody being on your team. But once the reality is there, the tangibles are there, nobody can beat that. So re-electing me is just to continue to advocate and do what I've been doing for them to go beyond. I can tell you that what I'm doing, I get my motivation from the results.
Okay.
To know that somebody was at point A and I was able to help, they are now at point B, C. Why don't I keep doing it to ensure that most people will be able to gravitate from that level to a higher level in a positive way?
Okay.
Yes, so
With all of the criticisms that come out against you, you were at a certain point in time, you were looked at to be the elect of the county at the national legislature. Yeah, but this time around, it's quite different. You seeing a possible contender. Do you think the people still got to your heart?
yes, I believe so. And I can say
Mhm.
to be independent, right? If you actually follow the politics in Magibi, as you said, you notice that the same people that are saying
Mhm.
we do not want her, majority of those that are saying we want her to go back, the majority coming from the people that are saying we want her to go back versus we do not want her to be there again.
Mhm.
So in every institution in society, I think you should be open-minded.
Okay.
Listen, Honorable Ellen Ray, I was a fan of you from the beginning because you were doing X, Y, Z. Now I believe you are not doing it, you are doing the other way around. What's the reason? What's the cause? Have you forgotten? Okay, we need you to go back on the right trajectory. Then you know that person has an independent mind. Also, I didn't say no, we want her. What's the reason? There's no reason. We just don't want to, or we are being influenced by somebody to do it, or we are coerced to do it. No, you should have your own independent mind. So long you're above 18, you should be able to weigh things and see, make better decisions.
I'm concerned about all of the different programs you have rolled out in your district of which you mentioned. What if in a case where you are not re-elected, will these programs still continue?
They will continue, but it will be on a lower scale because I will not. I mean, I can bite more than I can chew. You cannot spend what you don't have. So if I have resources to do a project that costs $100 and I have 150, obviously I can afford to do it. If I don't have that money, I won't be able to do it. So you cannot give what you don't have. So I can say to you, I'm not going to shy away. 2017, what I started doing it before 2017,
Okay.
helping my partner. So it's not based on because I'm there, I would do it. If I'm not there, we got huge investment in Margibi, not only the upper end, but the lower end as well.
You
I'm
got
not going to
him,
leave
my
it.
dad.
Yeah, I'm not
Also,
going to
Representative
shy away from it.
Rare, in the absence of like say the issue of reconciliation is key, and the development cannot go on when you have a split caucus. Let's look at your relationship with caucus members. You have Representative Alpha Jones, you have Senator James Tonola, you have Representative Tapoware, Representative Ben Fofana, Representative what is guy from District 5, and Senator Tonola as well. Let's look at your relationship with them.
As far as I'm concerned, I have a cordial relationship with my colleagues in the caucus. The members of the caucus, we are colleagues. We do not have a social interaction. So it's easy when it comes to working in the interest of the people of Margibi. We work together. If it costs me to even make you breakfast because I know that I need you for us to work for Margibi, I will do it. But when it comes to personal or social relationship, we don't have that relationship, and which is normal. Most of them in the caucus, we weren't in that social activities before. So it is professional.
We're talking
and we
about
take it that way.
unity, regardless of you guys meeting and work. When you have
Mhm.
the united body outside of what you do, that when you go and meet on the table, you discuss Maggie become.
Mhm. When we meet on the table, we talk Margibi. Outside the table, if we need to talk for Margibi, we talk the same. But outside the table, as far as I'm concerned, only one member of the caucus who has expressed repeatedly negative vibes towards me, and
Who is that
I
person?
think is the most recent senator that was elected, Senator Nukwe.
Senator
Yeah,
Nukwe.
Yeah, so I just try to reciprocate. That's all.
You mean he doesn't like you?
I believe so, and he has his own reasons. So I just
Do you do
return
you
the
do you
favor
see
to
him?
him.
Do you see him as a major factor to which your re-election? Perhaps he could sometimes campaign against you, and it could serve as a problem for you.
He's not a major factor. I'm not deterred by him. And for the record, 2017, he did not support me. He supported a candidate against me. So
Okay.
he's just an individual. Yes, as he been bragging, he may
They,
have
they see,
money,
they see
contacts, and
him
other
as
things.
the political
But
godfather for Maggie.
yes, that's how some people see him. The same way people see me as the Iron Lady of Maggie because they show number 3. So I think the game is on, and he has his voice, and I have mine. He has his followers, and I have my followers as well. So 2017, I mean, with the grace of God and the word of the people, I won with 6,335. So the margin between the equipment at that time and myself was 2,000 plus. He did not change the mandate of the people.
Okay.
So the will of the
There's
people shall prevail.
Recently, we saw a tension building, ensuing amongst your supporters and Senator Nukwe's supporters. What can you tell your supporters? Like it is clear, it is glaring that you guys have a very sour relationship, and in so doing, you have the supporters to taking exactly what you tell them.
Also, my supporters have said to them to not allow somebody to drag you out of character because the world we live in now with technology, people are watching. People will keep those things that will haunt you. So don't allow somebody to bring out that attitude that you're not supposed to exhibit. So I always talk to my supporters to keep cool, not to say negative things or not to respond. If you think there's something that requires a rebuttal, do it in a more professional way because some of the writings are not things to ignore.
Okay.
You take it personal, especially when you see like the threats against my life and that of my family. It's not something I would take for granted. So at the appropriate time, I needed to speak, for which I spoke.
Is it that the senator sees you as a threat in Magibi, being the lone female, that he just want to get you off?
Or have you
Yes,
said to him at any
because
point in time, you at any point in time you are dreaming of becoming the next senator?
I've not said that to him, but you see, when you see your perfect competitor, you become uncomfortable. I think that's the position he's in. And the senator saw me as a book and he overlooked me
Okay.
from the cover.
Okay.
So when he got to read the book and he understood the character in question, I think he became a furious, and that's how he decided to take that path. Because I was a member of the caucus before he came,
Mhm.
and I welcomed him with an open heart. I supported him. My family supported him. It's no secret.
Okay.
My official vehicles were saying in his activities and all
In,
that.
in,
So
in the 2020
in
senatorial
the case
election.
in the case of
the
reconciliation.
time that during the process for which he serves as senator today,
Uh-huh.
2020. I'm
Okay.
not saying 2017,
Okay.
2020.
In 2020.
In the case of reconciliation, for the sake of Magibi and the people of Magibi as a whole,
Mhm.
have you at any point in time said to him, "Oh, Senator, despite our differences, there is a need we could unite ourselves for the betterment of the people"? Have you had such a conversation with him?
Yes, I'm a well-trained person. People that know me would say, hey, we got a former member of the caucus, Honorable Richard Sakwali. He knows me very well prior to me reaching where I am. I respect, but I'm not afraid.
Okay.
I reached out to the senator, in person of Senator Nukwe,
Mhm.
one-on-one meeting, and I asked him some questions. And I even opened my phone, I remember, and showed him something like, oh, Honorable, no, you cannot be thinking, or you cannot even listen to the people. That's the people of Magibi. It is not what you think, it is not what it is. And I'm talking about his word, but
I
not
think
little did I know
we gotta
that
go, but
he
there's
was
this
Yeah,
one
just
thing that we
and
gotta go. It's just 5 minutes, but there's this in 1 minute time we want you to answer this question.
okay.
What is your role? What is your stand on the presence of the former
that's exactly the
sanctioned
question I wanted to ask.
Minister Nathaniel Mangay in Margibi County wanted to be senator? You guys have this politics, this tradition that says once you have a senator from Lower Margibi, this
Mhm.
time around you come from Upper. Now it's Lower Margibi. You
Yeah.
see in the presence of Mangay in Margibi County.
Mhm.
What is your role? What is your stand? Are you aligning with Mangay?
Honorable Magiel has expressed his interest. It is the citizens, it is the voters that will make that decision as to whether they want to elect him or not. The same thing happened 2020, and I felt it was on me to ensure the people that I reconcile with Senator Nukwe, even though he did not support me, but because of the lower and upper end, we should give him our support, for which I put my everything into it. And I encourage the people to do it. Senator Nukwe and
Mangay.
myself will work
Mhm.
together until reaching. Maggie is not yet a senator, so
Yes.
I will call him a former minister or
Mhm.
Mr. McGill. So Mr. Maggie is now in the picture, and he wants to become the next senator of the people. It is on the people to be able to see reason whether they should elect him or not.
Hmm.
I cannot make decision for them. Mine, I just have a vote, but it's true that I have a voice. And I would say, you being accused of something, you should ask questions to know the way forward to be able to exonerate yourself. It is on him to do that for his own freedom, for his own liberty. He should be able to do that. I will not impose him on the people, and I will not say to the people, because I am in favor or against, so you should be in favor or
Oh,
against.
okay.
I will tell you to be objective and see what you think it is right. That's what you want to do. You go first.
The lines are blinking, but before we can get to the telephone line, the primary some times ago mandated each of the representative to hold discussions with citizens regarding the introduction of the bill making the practice of the FGM a criminal offense. I guess you are aware of that mandate.
The primary from where? From
The
who?
primary of the representative, also
Or the
representative.
plenary?
Yeah.
No. We are still having discussions. So because of the discussions we are having surrounding the FGM, we extracted that portion from the Domestic Violence Act.
Mhm.
But quite recently, as recent as Tuesday of this week, we had the Google ambassador, Madam Doha Dukare, in
Mhm.
town and speaking to the issue. So we said, okay, we agree, but we need to sensitize our people. We need to create the awareness. So we
Okay.
have to talk to our traditional people. Yeah, we have to go there and talk to them, and let's see the way forward. They will be able to say what they think the way forward is. It's the form of living, it is our tradition. We cannot take it from them without making them to understand or to hear from them. So that's where we are. We have not passed any law on that.
Okay,
Well,
all right. So we got to take the
mm.
calls now.
And this person is already on
Yeah.
the line. Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Quickly, let's hear you the name where you call from. 30 seconds.
My name is Eman Hammer, a call of this morning.
Mhm.
I totally appreciate the iron leader of my typical program and any other way for the what you can do when you can overstand law making adequate representation of the poor of my country. But I want to ask a question quickly. We have a Kansas City few almost 5 6 months ago, I said, be corrected. And I was told now 425,000 were lent to the country. Also, first time, none of the project have been implemented. I want to know if the money is in the county account or is it in trust. Thank you so much for giving me the time.
Thank you. We talk to this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
You say you got 30 seconds.
Go ahead
Remember,
quickly.
you got 30 seconds. Just away from your receiver.
Thank you.
McLean, quickly to the
go
issue.
ahead.
Yes, I do know the one that you for the Center for Exchange and Letter of Opinion. Let me congratulate one of the new board in the Federal National Legislature in the state of Man City County. Now the reason why you see that in fact that the matter is receiving serious stress on the former senator is because the people in Suma are the next senator of that county
Okay, McLean.
Yeah, we
McLean, your
got it.
30 seconds is out. Let's talk to this person. Good morning. The news people
good
are
morning.
on our back. Let's hear you quickly.
You know, I thank you. My name is Albert Kemoka, and I'm situated right in Mosorado.
How about quickly?
I want to ask this lady, the representative in the District 3, what? Because some of us we are the civil advocate. What is the methodology or the mechanism she has put in place to help people living with disability in a particular district? Because
Thank you. We talk to this person. Good morning. This will be our last caller. Quickly.
No, I think because they might not have to respond. Go ahead. Talk to this person.
We done. Good morning.
Hello?
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning to you, my brother and friend, and good morning to the female general in studio.
Yeah,
Let's
just
say
go
you
ahead.
my
quickly.
brother. We're out of time.
Okay, my name is Cyrus Johnson. I joined this conversation from the Mo Ebano and Honor Development Community of this specific district number 15, Mosorado County. I listen to the Iron Lily Limited. And what I want to say is that I pray that you enter successfully, or if you enter the promises that you think you will give to the people for your county, I pray that you implement everything because your war is what makes you to be human. And before I conclude, what are some of the mechanisms you are putting in place that will bring you to permanent? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take more calls.
Okay.
We will take more calls. We wouldn't take the news. The madam is here.
we have to
Necessary
go to
settlement.
this person.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning. This is activist McLean.
McLean, you were on the
McLean, you gotta
line.
go straight to the issue.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Madam, the people of Mankibi County want to inform you to me that in fact, during our election, don't worry, the re-election is
Are you from Maggie, McLean?
McLean said the
This
people
person. Good morning. Good morning.
brother, I was transiting and I was in flat and I was
Go straightly, my brother. Go to the point.
yes, as I said, I went in Montserrat in my GB District 3, did my baseline survey, and a lot of people are languishing in Abia poverty, especially people living with disability, and they say they don't even have access to the representative, and each time they put program together in the environment, she don't go there.
Okay.
What is the mechanism that she put in place to help these people?
Thank you. 07709079007.
So we'll take 5 calls.
Yep,
we are still in time. We'll take 5 calls and then we'll call it a
Got
day.
to do it.
0770907907. 0880907907 are the numbers this person on line 5. Good morning. Let's hear you quickly to the point. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Thank you. My name is Kewu Hassan, and I call from Lecture District 11.
Quickly.
And let me say thanks to the madam. I've been following the Magidi politics as it relates to some of the happenings in Magidi. Well, I follow her at the host of legislatures. She's been doing exceedingly well. Well, we have challenges in Magidi because myself, I voted 2017 in Magidi. I have a candidate there. And this coming election, I'll be voting Magidi. Man, you have to double your team. That's my advice.
Okay.
You have to double
Thank you.
Thank you.
An advice.
07709079070 08809079007. I the number. Scholars on these numbers and you'll be live.
So there are people asking, those of you watching as well, you call us on the WhatsApp number +231 775 189193, you will be live as well. So 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907 are the numbers, and you will be live. Like one of the callers asked, Representative Ray, let's look at the status of the last county sitting in terms of implementation of agreed upon projects.
Okay, so for the record, the last county sitting I did not attend due to conflicting information. The time I did not get the time ahead, and when I was told last minute to time, I asked for the agenda so I would be able to make my input, which I did not get. And rather, I was told that the county sitting was going to be held, and it was held using the Local Government Act. So I said, it's a good thing to use the Local Government Act, but according to the Local Government Act, there are things that we're supposed to put in place. They're supposed to have elections, they're supposed to have their office, they're supposed to have their structure. When was that done?
Okay.
Before we are going to have the county sitting? But again, I'm just an individual. I don't want to hold the county's development hostage. So you can proceed. They proceeded. Some of the questions that I asked, we are now faced with them. Since that sitting was held, I have not received any official report to inform the decision that we made as a record to my office, district number 3. So a couple of days ago, I think about 2 or 3 days ago, I saw a post from a member of the civil society in my GB, because I've been asking questions. I've been working along with the co-chair of the caucus in person of Honorable Tiparosa Tapue, and to know where we were financially, whether we could go to the Ministry of Finance to ensure that the money leaves the consolidated account for our own account. And it wasn't done. Every time he told me he approached the Ministry of Finance, they have competing priorities.
Okay.
So nothing was transferred. So 2 or 3 days ago, when I saw the post that 200,000 plus left the consolidated account to Magibi's account, and it cannot be accounted for, I shared that information with the caucus chair. I said, you need to tell me, because I'm hoping on you to lobby at the Ministry of Finance, considering that a lot of citizens who are there to ensure we receive this money. He said, Honorable, nothing has left. So I'm quoting the co-chair of the caucus that nothing has left the consolidated account. The setting that they have, the money that was appropriated for projects or cent has not been received by the county administration, according to the caucus chair of Magibi County, Honorable Tapue. So I reached out to a few persons that I know at the Ministry of Finance, and I have a meeting on Tuesday to ascertain the facts for myself. Because if it is true that money was withdrawn, it would be unfair to the people of Magibi.
Don't you think it's a disservice to a larger extent to the people of Magibi, calling for a county sitting and the proper things are not being done, and you as a representation in one of the areas not attending that meeting up to press, you cannot get all did as it relates to development?
No, so if you follow the Local Government Act, we are not supposed to be there. We receive invite. So
the people take the control, they control the
so
things.
they
have
do
to say.
everything. So basically, you are just invited to watch, but they make the decision to do everything. So at this point in time, as per the Local Government Act, is giving power to the people, for which I agree. So I felt that they would have had the elections, put people into office, the rightful position, and ensure that they have that mandate, that authority to act. So I'm in favor of the Local Government Act, but I felt we needed to put things into place as per the act before proceeding. So when it came out abruptly, I said, okay, if you think I can handle it, you do it, because I don't want to go contrary to the view of the majority. So that was done.
One of the caller asked for the issue of this.
I don't know where that caller called from, but Magibi County is big. We got upper and lower. I may not know what's happening in the lower end, but for the upper end, what he said, he need to do some fact finding, because 2 persons that are mostly work with there, tough talking people, is Moses Pakala.
Okay.
And he's listening to me. He will attest to that. Many times he calls, and I even had a meeting with him. We talk about the disabled commission. We talk about the boss, how we can engage her. He told me he engaged her, and there's nothing there, and we need to actually lobby for them to have something. Another person is Raleigh Fowler, who is currently in the U.S. I used two of them as a case study to encourage other people, even though they are disabled, but they were able to me further the education. They graduated from college, so you can also do the same. Let's see how we
Okay.
can put them together.
Okay,
So
we
I
got
don't know where that caller got his information from.
most of the time when you go for county setting, the people can really cry. I have a friend from District 2, Augustine with me. Sometimes you people they will talk, they will do this. At the end of the day, you people cannot give them the money they deserve to maybe carry on project. They can only cry for empowerment. Sometimes too, you can close eye on it. That's what the people say.
The decision to come from the people, and I like the way the local government act has come into play, and we are using that as our tools for the county sitting.
Okay.
I would say to you, I rather advocate to ensure that institutions receive what they're supposed to receive than for the burden to be on us to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I can tell you for a fact that whenever there's a county sitting or the district sitting, people shouldn't shy away from it. That's why your voices will be heard and you will be able to advocate for your institution.
Okay.
Like this thing, I wish there's something, even the district, the county sitting they had, the disabled community. I call Moses Pakala. You need, if you will listen to me to send delegate or whatever, I will ask that he be a part of it because he's a tough talking person to talk on behalf of the disabled
Madam, we have to
community.
go. Thanks to the CEO as well, who were very instrumental in the. So I think he wants to put you a point. I hope we can get him, but you can actually wrap up in 1 minute. We out of time, totally out of time. There are too many comments that we can read now. Yes, so I think they will have Seku. Good morning, Seku. Quickly in 2 minutes, in 1 minute's time.
Yes, Paco, good morning. Let me say
Until
good
you have
morning to
open
Harris and also good morning to your guest, which is the honorable good morning.
Good morning, Seko.
Okay, so I want to say thank you for honoring the invite. There's something that I want to ask you about that has to do with what's going on in Mangibi County. I'm a Mangibian. I came from Mangibi County and tried to look at the border politics of what's happening in the county. There has been this quote-unquote fight in the faces of the current issues happening in the county where the sanctioned Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Nathaniel McGill, has expressed his intention to contest in the county. There has been this rumor, and there are a lot of things people have said, because we are journalists and people usually come to us with all kinds of information that you are one of the problems in sense that you came to prominent through winning the election in Mangibi County through the influence of Senator Emmanuel Nukwe. And this time around, you don't want to support what he says to you. So there's this bad blood that is causing more bigger problem for the country because of your alleged support to the candidature of sanctioned Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. Do you support the candidature of the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs in the county? And if you did, why you think you decided to do such?
Thank you. So so you will answer. CEO, thanks for calling. All right, so we'll call it a day on that segment. Go ahead.
I will start with your last few words. The former Minister of State, I'm not going to impose on the people. I'm going to work along with the people and they will tell me what they want to do, what they think is right to do, as I've always been doing. I've never imposed on my people. To even say that some of the reason why the tension is in the county is because Senator Nukwe is asking me to do something or not do something and I'm opposing, it's an affront to me. It is an affront to my education. He cannot dictate to me.
Okay.
We talk and we see I am an adult and I am an elected person. I was in the caucus before he came. So why would Senator Nukwe dictate to me? And again, for the record, 2017, he did not support me. So there's nothing like we had an agreement. I supported you. So I will have to rule you. That's the tendency he has, that he wants to control people.
Okay.
But I'm sorry to disappoint him. I'm not a person that he can pull by the nose. It's not going to work. We have issue we discuss. If I think it is prudent to do, I do it. You educate me as to why we should be able to do this and not be able to do that. And it cannot even be the reason for him to even stick to anybody because it sounds comical. Senator Nuko is on record when he started putting his own boys together and he was talking to them recklessly. And his reckless statements got to the public on recording, voice recording. So that was long before the former minister came into the picture. So how can you tie that? Is it not a contradiction?
Okay.
So he cannot say that. So for I want to pause here for now, but that is not true. And sorry again to disappoint you, Senator Nukwe, but I'm not one of the persons that you think you can just control. No, I'm sorry.
We gotta go, so you could just just your parting comment. It has been a nice time with us on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I actually appreciate the invitation, and I hope to be here anytime soon or to come here as often and as I'm supposed to, so that I get to interact with the public.
Okay, she is Representative Ellen Ato Rez. She comes from my Gibby County, District 3. You listen to her. It has been a wonderful conversation on the show. Harris, we got to go.
Yeah, Paco, we have to go, and we'll be on Monday with
Yeah.
yet another edition of the program. And so on to then. Yeah, it's been a splendid conversation.
Okay, so Harris waited a bit around. Thanks to the team for producing us as well. My name is April M. Parker. This is how I have to leave you on this edition of the show. Join us on Monday. A wonderful weekend from our end.